Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thank you for logging on. Today, I will be your guide to the proper usage, care, and maintenance of your Glashütte Original Senator Cosmopolite. This is the world's most capable travel watch, and while you may need a PhD to design the watch, you do not need one in order to operate and enjoy this fine timepiece. It's important to note that the watch displays two time zones. Your home time, or the area where you are not, is displayed at 12 o'clock, which is why there is a small dimple index just below the hands representing light or dark, allowing you to discern day or night, AM or PM in the time zone where you are not. This is excellent for keeping track of far-flung friends, family, and business associates. At center, you see hands for the local time. Now, there is also a day-night indicator. At 9 o'clock, the day-night indicator is cued to the local time, the hands at center. There is a date, the classical panorama datum or panorama date of Glashütte Original, and that will be driven by the hands at center. Though you may adjust the home time, it will not advance the date, as the date is best remembered as the time where you are currently. You could see at 8 o'clock, two separate time zones, and there are 35 IATA airport codes for the 35 principal time zones to which you may travel. The watch is able to discern between standard and daylight savings time. Depending on where you are, this is an easy adjustment and visual reference to let you know not just where you are, but what time it is in what period of the year wherever you may be. It's important to note that this is an automatic winding watch by virtue of its case-back rotor system, so it can wind itself, and it does have a power reserve minimally of 72 hours or 3 days. But if you wish to wind the watch, simply take the crown at 2 o'clock in its first position flush to the case and turn until you've either filled the power reserve scale at 12 o'clock, that is a crescent-shaped power reserve scale, or until you hear a subtle click or tick from within the watch. That is the bridle-style mainspring slipping, and it's your audible cue that the watch is now fully wound. The timepiece, when worn on the wrist, will automatically wind itself, and thus it is effectively autonomous once set. However, if you wish to wind to maximum reserve, just remember, because of the bridle-style mainspring, you cannot accidentally overwind the watch. 25 to 35 turns will be sufficient to start the timepiece. Now, if you wish to synchronize the watch precisely to a reference time, it does feature a hacking or stop seconds functionality. You can see that there is a constant seconds register at 6 o'clock on the dial, and it is the crown at 2 o'clock that is used for setting the entirety of the displays, that is, home and local time, in sync. This is also the crown that will stop the seconds hand. The best way to do this is to wait till the seconds hand reaches the index at 60, and if you want to synchronize precisely, that's when you pull the crown and stop the system. Now, look up an accurate reference time, such as an online atomic clock for your time zone, and you want to set the watch to the correct hour, and then you want to set it to the next nearest minute relative to your reference time. Now, you're going to be at most 1 minute ahead of the time on the reference. You wait for the minute and the second to catch up precisely to the time you've set on your watch, then you push the crown back down. The seconds continue to advance. Now you've synchronized the watch to your reference time. It's important to recognize that although the crown at 8 o'clock can drive the reference city forward or backwards, it will not drive the time. You can, however, drive the time and drive the reference city. This will be demonstrated in a moment. It's important to recognize that there is a color coding to the reference airports. The IATA three-letter codes are black for standard 1-hour time zones. They are blue for time zones that differ by 30 minutes from standard, and they are red for the small number of time zones that differ by either 15 minutes or 45 minutes. To set everything in sync, you turn the crown, having pulled it out to a stop, at 2 o'clock. This will set both local time and your home time in sync. You can see I'm on the east coast of New York, and on the east coast of New York, we use JFK or John F. Kennedy Airport IATA time. It's important to note that by taking the crown at 4 o'clock and withdrawing it, you now enter the setting mode for the reference at 8 o'clock. The setting mode allows you to jump in 1-minute increments if you wish, but in general, there is a gearing system that makes 15-minute increments the natural inclination of the system, though it will jump if prodded It is designed to be set as near as to the minute if you are in an idiosyncratic time zone that may yet to be created. Nevertheless, the watch is able to adapt to this by virtue of the fact that it can be set to the minute at center. Now, let's say I'm going to spring forward, as we say, from standard time to daylight savings time, and I'm on the east coast of New York, on the east coast of the United States. I'm going to spring forward 1 full hour. Now you see, as I do this, JFK moves from standard time to daylight savings time. Once I'm done setting, I push the crown at 4 back in, and now I have changed my daylight savings or standard indication. I haven't changed my city, I've just updated to the current local time status, and the watch is able to compute and recognize this fact. Now the timepiece does feature a quick set system for its date that is regulated by a dimple-style pusher adjuster at 9 o'clock. When you are adjusting the date, make sure that the local time on the dial is not between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., as this is the period during which the date is jumping itself. That is, it is automatically engaged and turning over. Attempting to use that quick set while the date is automatically engaged in turnover between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. can damage the watch. So always take heed of the time before using that quick set system. If you need to roll the date through midnight, manually advance the hour hand through those hours from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. to avoid damage. Now, there are a number of areas of concern with respect to the handling of your watch: water, magnetism, and shock. Let's consider water first because it is ubiquitous and the gravest threat to your timepiece. This watch is rated at 5 ATM or 50 meters. This is exceptional for a dress-style timepiece. Nevertheless, leather, a porous natural material as featured in the strap, is never water resistant, and if you were to moisten it or wet it or submerge it, it would degrade rapidly. Therefore, always ensure that the strap is dried immediately should become moist, and make sure that the watch is on a water-resistant band if exposure to moisture in earnest is expected. It's also important to note that you can help avoid accidental drownings. Keep all of the crowns as well as the quick-set adjuster disused so that when water is on the case or the watch is in water, you don't accidentally bypass the seals and introduce water to the interior of the watch. It's also important to remember that unlike mechanical specifications, water resistance is not a static feature of your watch, and over time, as seals degrade and lubricants dry, the watch will be relatively less water resistant, so Glashütte Original recommends having your watch water tested at an authorized service center at a minimum every 12 months. This is also a good time to have the physical condition of your watch checked, as well as chronometric performance evaluated. Magnetism can't cause as much damage to your watch as water. Nevertheless, it is ubiquitous and unseen, and it can cause the ferrous hairspring at the center of your watch's balance, effectively your watch's heartbeat, to become magnetized, leading to erratic timekeeping. If you suspect due to fast or slow running that your watch may have become magnetized, take it to a Glashütte Original service center where specialized equipment is available to quickly and easily demagnetize your watch. As a rule of thumb, to prevent a magnetized hairspring, keep your watch remote from powerful static magnets such as those on guitar or instrument pickups, the closures of wallets, purses, refrigerator doors, speakers, and subwoofers, as well as powerful electromagnets such as battery-powered personal devices, wiring looms, and high-powered electronics. Concussion is a severe threat to the well-being of your timepiece, as at a bare minimum it can lead to inaccurate running. Maximally, it can shatter sapphires or even damage the movement sufficiently to stop it. So ensure that the watch is not used during concussive activities such as the riding of mountain bikes or ATVs. Disuse the watch during high-impact sports such as batting, tennis, golf, or firearms marksmanship. Finally, Glashütte Original reminds its owners that every fine timepiece requires a comprehensive overhaul every 3 to 5 years. Now, this should be performed exclusively with an authorized service center of Glashütte Original or the factory itself, as these agencies solely have the trained personnel, specialized tools, and Glashütte Original original replacement parts to maintain the value of your watch as both instrument and as investment. Moreover, only these agencies are able to back all work and parts invested with an original service warranty. To learn more about this and the entire collection of Glashütte Original timepieces, call, text, or email our experts at govbergwatches.com, who will be happy to walk you through every phase of care and ownership of any Glashütte Original timepiece.